Oh, merge with Q, merge with VR. Ah, great. God damn it. I don't have both. Anyway, Assalamu alaikum, guys. This is me, Senpai Gamer San. I'm your host, Senpai. We are playing the game. What game? What game you playing, Senpai? Sorry, overreacting. We are playing the game 57 North. Now there is a story of this game. The game is paid on. Its rupees is 460, and the story of this game is two cousins stuck in the island. They're shipwrecked on that island. Now they're trying to solving the puzzle from escape. They can find so many stuff. They can find so many. They can find so many stuff. They can find so many tragic puzzles, etc., which they need to solve it. Like behind the mystery of the island. I don't know what was the island name. Maybe it's Alcatraz, I guess so. It is a gripping type of story. They say it's really amazing. So here we go. We're gonna be play. What is the merge cube? Let's see. Merge Explorer, Cellular, 3D Museum, God damn it, forget it. Anyway, let's play the standard. Ah, great. This game requires the audio to put in the headphones and swipe to choose the direction. Got it. So we're gonna go to the north. Mm-hmm. Let's start the game. Oh, so this is how it can happen. Chapter 1.
Rock! Sasha yelled from the front of the small boat. From the tiller, Caleb squinted against the stinging rain as he tried to decipher the abstract shapes floating past them in the darkness. A sudden flash of lightning revealed a huge stone column jutting out of the rough sea directly ahead.
Wow. This is freaking amazing. Money paid off, I guess so. Turn the boat, stop the boat. Um, hmm. I guess.
Caleb pulled the tiller to avoid a collision, steering them towards what he hoped was the main channel. Alaska's inside passage was a labyrinth of islands, and he honestly had no idea where they were. A sudden jolt knocked them both off their feet. The motor screamed in protest as the propeller caught against a boulder beneath the waterline, and the boat lurched to a stop.
Back up, cut the engine. Cable pulled the tiller to avoid the collision, steering them towards what he hoped was the main channel. Alaska, inside the passage, was liberated on island, and he honestly had no idea where they were. A sudden jolt knocked them both off their fear. The motor screamed in protest as its propeller cuffed a giant boulder beneath the waterline, and the boat lurched to stop. Cut the engine.
Caleb cut the engine, plunging them into an eerie silence. The boat bobbed awkwardly as the back remained hung up on the rocks. Listen, Sasha told him. It took a moment for Caleb to realize what she was hearing. The distinct sound of waves crashing against rocks. It was coming from all around them.
OMG.
A large swell washed under them, lifting the boat as it passed. It wasn't enough to dislodge them, but the boat came down hard with a hollow crunch that surely cracked the fiberglass hull. Another flash of lightning revealed an approaching wave at least twice as large and cresting just off their bow.
Ride it out, push off.
They braced themselves as the wave hit. Sasha fared as well as could be expected in the front of the boat, but Caleb took the brunt of it. The sheer force of the wave slammed him against the wall before washing him over the railing.
Damn.
Any pain that Caleb felt paled in comparison to the sudden immersion in icy water. By Alaskan standards, 57 degrees was actually quite warm. but still enough to send an unaccustomed body into shock. Caleb's head rang as he came up, gasping for air. He had just enough mental faculty left to see that the wave had carried him 20 yards from the boat, which was now bobbing freely but half submerged. The rocky shore was at least 5 times further, but it was in the direction of the current.
Swim forward.
Caleb forced his trembling limbs in the direction of the boat, but after several strokes he could tell that he was drifting even further away. Another wave loomed up, probably no bigger than the last, but from so low in the water, it may as well have been Mount Everest. The wave slammed him back underwater. Everything went black.
So you guys wondering when this game is released and does it release in Pakistan? Obviously it's released in Pakistan, that's why I bought it. Duh. And this game released in 2020. This is the early access of this game and it's really amazing, honestly. I can see that, you guys can see that. So they are stuck in the Alaska. Well, that's fucked up.
Back in the boat, Sasha managed to regain her balance on the slippery deck, which was now half submerged as the boat sank. She tied off a line and threw it in Caleb's direction, but it wasn't nearly long enough, and Sasha could see that Caleb wasn't moving.
Caleb wasn't moving. Save the Caleb, man. Fuck it. Forget about the boat.
Without hesitation, Sasha dove into the water. It was just as cold, but the adrenaline and the conscious decision to jump in helped soften the effects that Caleb had experienced. As the waves helped carry her towards him, she felt a sinking feeling in her gut as she saw that Caleb was indeed unconscious. She grabbed him by the life jacket and held on for dear life as a wave came down on top of them.
Swim to shore.
Sasha tumbled over the seabed but somehow managed to keep hold of Caleb. When she came up, it was shallow enough to stand, and she realized that they were on a sandbar 50 yards from the rocky shoreline. There was no way to get there through the gauntlet of waves, and even if she could, the rocks offered no protection from the onslaught of the surf. She dragged Caleb to the closest sea stack, and with her last ounce of strength, hoisted him up to a ledge on the leeward side of the rock.
She looks like a athletic, except the Caleb. Caleb looked like a nerd study guy.
Caleb's skin was cold, but she could feel a pulse and shallow breathing. Sasha pulled her jacket over them both and tried to find a comfortable spot on the sharp rocks. Exhaustion took hold, and she drifted into a restless sleep.
Chapter 2. I feel like.
Sasha's eyes opened reluctantly. The storm had passed, and it was just bright enough to see her surroundings in the early morning mist. Probably 3 a.m., she guessed. In August, the Alaskan sun had the annoying habit of setting so late and rising so early that there were only a couple of hours of true darkness. She and Caleb had been on the family vacation long enough that the novelty had worn off. "Caleb," she said aloud, as the previous night's events came flooding back to her.
Look at her face, first of all, is that. And second of all, this guy is telling us like I'm watching a Discovery Channel story. It's pretty amazing. It's really pretty amazing. This is I turn on the text so you guys can read it too. Anyway.
The sudden noise was enough to rouse Caleb, who woke with a start. "Ow!" Caleb groaned as he settled back against the rock. "Can you make it to shore?" asked Sasha, indicating a narrow strip of sand where the remains of their boat had washed up. Caleb nodded and forced himself off the ledge.
Huh. Swim to shore.
The water was even colder this time, and they were both shivering uncontrollably by the time they reached shore. Sasha trudged over to the boat and pulled their phones out of a waterproof compartment. Both of them still worked, but couldn't find a signal. Caleb's dad, Sasha's uncle, would be out looking for them, but that could take days with so many islands to search.
Inspect our boat. Maybe we can find the matchstick.
The boat had landed on its side and the motor was flooded with water after being submerged. But the real problem was the hull. It had several cracks in the fiberglass where the boat had hit the rocks. It wasn't going anywhere without a lot of work.
Oh.
Can you walk? Sasha asked. Caleb nodded and she helped him to his feet. He was in bad shape, but movement was the best cure for hypothermia. The beach was flanked by steep cliffs, so they made their way up to the tree line, which rose more gradually in each direction.
Fuck, I forgot to build a fire. God damn it. Let's see.
Asked Caleb, pointing at one of the pines. Halfway up the trunk, a small security camera was attached to what looked like a tiny satellite dish. Even though it was a sign of civilization, something about the sudden feeling of being watched gave Sasha the creeps.
Wave to camera.
Sasha waved her arms. "Hello?" she shouted. "We need help." The camera gave no indication it was even working. "There's no speaker," Caleb told her. "Even if someone is watching, they can't respond." "That doesn't mean they can't hear us," Sasha countered. Caleb grabbed a stick and etched the word help into the dirt in front of the camera. "Let's go."
So, did he write the help? Where is the help? God damn it. Where did you write? Ah, this is amazing game. Let's
They
explore
followed the tree
the...
line as it rose to the top of a steep cliff. From higher up, they could see the shoreline arc around the base of a small mountain just tall enough to be covered with a dusting of snow. Other than a few distant islands and a coastline at least 20 miles away, it was ocean as far as the eye could see.
I don't recognize anything. Oh, I can do like that too. Up and down by shaking my phone. This is really amazing. Okay, where are we?
"Where are we?" Sasha asked. Caleb shrugged, not wanting to admit that he had been lost even before the storm hit. The two cousins had taken the boat out the previous afternoon in an attempt to stave off the boredom of the family trip. Neither of them had realized how disorienting the chain of islands could be, and the squall had come out of nowhere. "The storm must have pushed us to one of the outer islands," Caleb offered, trying to convince himself of his own innocence.
Check the phone.
Sasha pulled out her phone. Even without a signal, the GPS worked.
What?
The map required a connection to download details. The blue dot just showed that they were in the middle of the ocean off the southeast coast of Alaska. Not even the large populated islands appeared on the default map.
Oh, what the fuck? GPS is working. Explore inland. Keep exploring.
They were able to follow the edge of the cliff a good ways further before it abruptly fell off into a ravine. The path forward looked treacherous, but a metallic glint caught Sasha's eye. She pushed aside some underbrush to reveal a large outdoor electrical box secured with a padlock. Caleb picked up a rock and tested its weight in his hand. "Are you sure that's a good idea?" Sasha asked.
Break the padlock. Um. Hmm. Break the padlock.
Caleb brought the rock down hard and the padlock snapped open. Inside was a rack full of computer equipment. Some of it looked like standard networking gear, but several pieces were custom black boxes with no manufacturer and cryptic
Wow.
homemade labels like SE_1421. "What kind of person has all this gear out in the middle of nowhere?" Sasha mused. Caleb closed the door and hung the broken lock back in place, but the large gash on the metal case was impossible to hide.
Back to beach.
By the time they got back to the beach, Caleb was stumbling. The whole time, Sasha had been keeping an eye out for boats, but if they were on the outside of the passage, it's the last place a search party would look. In the state Caleb was in, they couldn't wait that long.
Let's build a fire.
Sasha gathered some fallen branches from the tree line. They were soaking wet, but some gasoline from the boat helped get them burning. The smoke was thick, which Sasha hoped might attract anyone out looking for them. After 30 minutes by the fire, Sasha was warm and dry. Caleb's skin was pale, and he still Definitely hypothermia, observed Sasha. We need to get you moving. They followed the coast in the other direction for about a quarter-mile when Caleb's phone dinged. One new network found. Station 57 had no password and no internet access, but it was close enough for them to pick up the Wi-Fi signal. Go that way and call out the signal strength, Caleb told her. We can triangulate the position.
Triangulate, stay together.
No way, Sasha said. This place gave Sasha the creeps, and she had seen too many horror films to let Caleb out of her sight. The idea that someone else was out here only made it worse.
Follow the signal.
It took a lot longer, but after a half hour stumbling through the woods in random directions, they found the source of the Wi-Fi signal. A small cluster of buildings in the center of a clearing.
Wow. Inside the island there was a...
Hello? Caleb called out as they searched the buildings. There were no signs of life, but what sounded like a distant voice was just audible over the sound of the wind. As they approached the largest building, they could finally make out what the voice was saying. Sasha, Caleb. They both froze in their tracks. Who's there? Sasha shouted. My name is Wilson, the voice called back, but no one appeared. There was something odd about his voice, too measured and formal. Not to mention the fact that he knew their names. I'm inside, Wilson said. Sasha followed reluctantly as Caleb walked up to the building. She took a deep breath and steeled her courage as he pushed open the door.
Whoa. Chapter 3, man, this is really amazing.
It took a few seconds for their eyes to adjust to the relative darkness of the small room. Welcome to Station 57, Wilson said. But the room was completely empty. I'm over here, he added. The computer in the corner. Caleb shook the mouse to wake up the screen, but wasn't surprised to find a sparse desktop. He could tell now that the odd sound of Wilson's voice was because he wasn't breathing.
Was that you, Wilson?
Caleb began to type his question, but Wilson interrupted. It's easier to use your voice. My speech recognition is very accurate and faster than typing. It also allows me to collect additional information from your tone and inflection. You're an AI? Sasha asked. Yes, I am Wilson 2.4, an artificial intelligence program created by Edward Warren. Would you like more information on my specifications?
Yes, please.
The screen was suddenly filled with text as dozens of README files opened on top of each other. They were all licenses for open source projects. Most of it was gibberish to them, but a machine learning package caught Caleb's eye. You're self-taught? He asked. Yes, Wilson responded. Outside of core functionality, I've been given the freedom to absorb information from a variety of sources and even modify my own architecture. Caleb had learned about this from his dad, but looked to Sasha to see if she was getting all of this.
What's the machine learning?
Machine learning is a vast topic, but the basic explanation is that rather than programming a specific behavior, you create an algorithm that is able to teach itself. Then it can learn from its experiences. Or you can provide it with vast amounts of data in order to find patterns. For instance, I learned to predict volcanic eruptions by analyzing seismic data from hundreds of other events. The next eruption should begin in approximately 5 hours.
Eruption?
Eruption, they both explained. The island is volcanic. Edward left 3 days ago to observe from a safe distance, while I monitor the equipment. That's why he created me. Sasha took a closer look at the room. Everything was labeled property of USGS.
Wow. Another way of the island. Call for help.
Can't you call for help? Caleb asked. All communication on the island is via satellite, which was damaged in the storm last night. You can restore the connection, but help will not arrive before the eruption. Your best chance of survival is if Caleb fixes the satellite while Sasha repairs your boat. Then you can retreat to a safe distance and wait for help to arrive.
Sasha repairs the boat. Uh-huh. Why Sasha repairs the boat?
Why don't I go to the satellite? Sasha asked. Caleb has hypothermia, Wilson responded. The trip to the communications facility will be difficult, but physical activity will help increase his core temperature. Fixing the boat will require fine motor skills, which are affected by hypothermia.
How do you know about the... Oh yeah, he saw in the camera. Okay.
A suspicious look crossed Caleb's face. How do you know our boat was damaged? And our names, Sasha added. A black and white video appeared showing Sasha waving to the camera. That doesn't mean they can't hear us, Sasha's recording said. Told you so, Sasha beamed. Also, when you joined the wireless network, I saw that your devices were named Sasha's phone and Caleb's phone. Are your names not Sasha and Caleb?
Yes. This AI story is really amazing.
You're pretty clever for a computer, Sasha said. Good, replied Wilson, sounding almost proud. It was a reasonable assumption. Caleb rolled his eyes.
Is there any other way on the island?
Is there another way off the island? Asked Caleb. The island is accessible by boat, Wilson replied. Yours is the only one. It is too badly damaged to reach the mainland, but it could carry you to a safe distance until help arrives.
Look at this Sasha face. Let's go.
Where's the satellite? Asked Caleb. About halfway up the mountain, replied Wilson. I can help you both, but you'll need to copy me to your phones. I've packaged myself into an app that is coming to you now. Their phones both dinged with the warning. Wilson 2.4 is from an unknown developer. Sasha immediately hit the trust button and Wilson's voice came from her tiny speaker. Hello, from Sasha's phone. Are you there, Caleb?
Should we trust it? This is the AI who developed the, his own thoughts, his own mind. It can trick us. This is the AI. I read about the game theory a lot, and I honest with you guys, I watch game theory. The game theory. If you guys didn't know about the game theory, I'm gonna put the link in description so you guys know it. This guy is really doing his freaking job in the high level, man. This guy is really awesome. He gave the theory about the game. Except me, I couldn't give the theory about the game which I play. Even I do give, sometime I'm fucked up. Anyway. So should we trust him? I guess I have to trust him.
Caleb hit trust, and Wilson's voice called out. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Installation confirmed. Once you are out of range of the Wi-Fi, I won't have access to the seismometers or cameras, and your phones still won't be able to communicate with each other. But I've stored all of the relevant information about the island and satellite manual, so I should be able to handle anything that comes up. All right, Sasha said. Let's go.
Chapter 4.
Caleb climbed to the top of a rocky hill and held up his phone so Wilson could see out of the camera. The satellite is on that ridge, Wilson said, circling a point on the mountain about 3 miles inland. It was at least an hour hike on a straight trail, let alone through the thick underbrush. Head north, but stay alert. Why? Asked Caleb. Bears, Wilson replied.
What the fuck? You want him to dead, bro?
You have a strange sense of humor, Caleb said as he followed Wilson's directions. I will take that as a compliment. Humor is one of the most difficult things for an AI to do. I get the feeling you don't find me very entertaining, though.
So you're trying to entertain me? Wow, great. End of the conversations.
Shouldn't you be in low power mode? Caleb asked. Okay, replied Wilson. Just keep going north. I'll check back in periodically. the time Sasha returned to the beach, the fog had dispersed, and the sun was finally starting to punch through the blanket of clouds. Sasha had dragged the boat far enough up the sand to see that the motor had been submerged overnight. But the real problem was the hull. It had several small cracks in the fiberglass where the boat had struck the rocks. It wasn't going anywhere without a lot of work.
Try to fix the hull.
The boat had a small metal toolbox, but all that was inside was a hammer, a few screwdrivers, and a roll of duct tape that was almost empty. Sasha looked around the beach for anything that might be useful, but found nothing but rocks and pine trees.
Fix the hull with the duct tape. Fix the hull with the pine sap. Try to fix the motor. Ask Wilson, man.
Sasha held the phone up to show Wilson the damage. I'm sorry, he said. Structural analysis is very complex. Even with unlimited processing power, it would be impossible to tell you the best course of action based on images alone.
Why did I bring you along? Then what you can tell me?
Then what can you do? Sasha asked. I still have access to data about the island, particularly seismic and topographical. I can also help you navigate the nearby waterways and coordinate a rescue plan once Caleb fixes the satellite.
What is pine sap?
Sasha ran into the woods and found a trunk that was covered in sap where a branch had broken off. It had turned into hard resin, but she was able to hammer off chunks and place them in the toolbox. It didn't take long to get the fire going again, and she placed the toolbox with the resin on top of the flames. A few miles inland, the intense hike had not only stopped Caleb from shivering, he was actually starting to sweat. Which way now? Caleb asked as he came to a rock outcropping that blocked his path forward. East, Wilson said. Caleb had gone no more than 10 steps when a howl suddenly filled the air. You said watch out for bears, Caleb hissed. We also have wolves, Wilson replied calmly.
Keep going.
If we get out of this alive, I'm going to delete you so fast, Caleb said as he slowly pushed onward. Once we fix the satellite, then you can do as you wish, Wilson replied. Caleb saw movement out of the corner of his eye and spun around. It was a mountain goat, who looked just as terrified as Caleb. For a brief moment, they studied each other, trying to guess which one the wolves were after.
Stand still.
Caleb stood his ground, and the goat took off through the forest. Seconds later, the branches around Caleb shook, and he caught a glimpse of silver fur as the wolves raced past him after the mountain goat. Everything went quiet, and Caleb breathed a sigh of relief. Stay alert, Wilson reminded him. We also have bears on the island.
God damn it, I'm getting stay alert and you are messing with me, bro.
Back at the boat, Sasha used a cloth to apply the hot pine sap to the hull, and stood back to admire her handiwork. It was amazing how well this stuff worked. She had managed to repair all of the cracks, and the first few had already dried hard enough that she was confident would hold. How long until Caleb gets back? Sasha asked Wilson. It is difficult to estimate, particularly in his condition. You need to focus on yourself. That is the best way to increase your odds of survival. Sasha tried not to let Wilson's words get to her, but she knew he was right. She had been nervous about going on the boat with Caleb. If she had listened to her gut, she might not be in this mess. Then again, Caleb probably wouldn't have survived the night.
He'll be fine.
He'll be fine, Sasha said, trying to convince herself. Worry about your own safety. You need to be prepared to leave as soon as the boat is ready, whether Caleb is back or not. For some reason, this wasn't making Sasha feel much better, so she turned her attention back to the task at hand.
Try to fix the motor.
Sasha tried to start the motor, but no matter how hard she tugged on the pull cord, it wouldn't turn over. She pulled off the plastic cover and saw that the inside was filled with sand and seaweed. Maybe if she cleaned it out, she could get it started.
Try to clean it.
The seaweed came out easily, but every time she disconnected something, sand and salt water poured out. She would have to take the whole thing apart to clean it. She was about to give up when an idea struck her. Wilson, can you take a picture every time I disconnect something? Of course, Wilson said as Sasha began the teardown. was exhausted by the time he reached the communication facility, a small metal shed surrounding the base of a massive satellite dish at least 20 feet across. The top of the shed was littered with several smaller dishes, like he had seen on the cameras at the beach. At quick glance, there didn't seem to be any damage.
What are the small dishes? Why it's so big?
What are all the little ones? Caleb asked. Wireless bridges, Wilson responded. That's how all of the cameras and seismometers tie into the network.
Why it's so big?
Caleb's grandpa lived on a farm and had a satellite dish about the size of a pizza. Why is it so big? Caleb asked. C-band communications require much more power and are less affected by the significant amounts of precipitation the island receives. Also, in the event of an eruption, the stronger signal should be able to pass through the ash cloud.
What's wrong with the satellites?
What's wrong with it? Caleb asked. Difficult to say. We can run a diagnostics program inside.
Go inside.
The door was unlocked. Inside were racks of equipment and a single workstation. Caleb found the diagnostics program. Everything checked out okay, except for a single error. Uplink disconnected. There's the problem, Wilson said, indicating a single Ethernet cable that had unplugged from a switch. Just reconnect that to port 17.
That wasn't caused by the storm.
I thought you said it was damaged in the storm, Caleb said. I suppose one of the pre-eruption earthquakes could have shaken it loose, Wilson offered. Caleb took a closer look. The clip was intact. There was no way that came out on its own. However, the thing that made him suspicious was the strange red color. Caleb held it up to the light. It was covered in blood.
Whose blood is that?
Whose blood is that? Caleb demanded. That is irrelevant. Just plug the cable into port 17.
No.
Whose blood? Caleb shouted again. Edward's, Wilson replied coldly.
Oh, fuck.
Back at the boat, Sasha replaced the plastic cover of the motor. Here goes nothing, she muttered to herself, and grabbed the pull cord. This time, at least the cord moved, but no matter how hard she pulled, the motor refused to turn on. Sasha cursed herself for spending so much time fiddling with it. I think we should... Sasha's thought was interrupted by a sudden blast that knocked her off her feet and sent her tumbling across the ground. Her ears rang, and she could feel her heart racing. What was that? Before Wilson could respond, Sasha knew the answer. A massive cloud of smoke was rising from the mountain. The volcano was erupting.
That bitch turned on the volcano shit. I knew it.
Halfway up the mountain, Caleb was still trying to figure out why Edward had been bleeding when he unplugged the satellite. Before Caleb could finish the thought, the ground underneath his feet buckled, and the walls shook violently.
Open the door.
An earthquake? Caleb thought as he opened the door to find nothing but smoke. He could just barely see the plume of smoke shooting out of the top of the volcano before he began coughing and shut the door. The eruption has started, Wilson informed him. Reconnect the cable, and I will call for help while you evacuate.
What happened to Edward?
What happened to Edward? Demanded Caleb. Under the circumstances, Caleb was reluctant to do anything Wilson said. Edward evacuated to a nearby island, Wilson reiterated.
Why was he bleeding?
Why was he bleeding? Caleb shouted. Edward encountered a bear, Wilson said. That's why I told you to stay alert. Caleb had no idea why, but if the bear part was true, he had the sneaking suspicion that Wilson had played a part. Please reconnect the cable, Wilson reiterated.
Did you hurt the cable?
The question seemed a bit ridiculous, but he asked anyways. Did you hurt Edward? No, Wilson replied. The bear did. But did you have anything to do with the bear? Insisted Caleb. A long pause. Yes. This is your last chance. Reconnect the cable so I can call for your rescue.
No, you didn't, man. I better run.
Caleb grabbed a flashlight off the wall as he flung open the door and started racing west in the direction he had come from. This is illogical, Wilson protested. Don't make the same mistake that Edward did. The words sent a chill down Caleb's spine, but he kept running. You said 5 hours, Sasha screamed at Wilson. It hadn't even been 3 yet. Exact eruption times are impossible to predict, and I can't observe seismometer data from your phone. Wilson's neutral tone seemed out of place, considering how much adrenaline was coursing through Sasha's veins. You must evacuate now.
Wait for Cable.
I'm not going anywhere without Caleb, Sasha said. She was terrified by the rising plume of ash, but wasn't about to abandon Caleb. The eruption is just beginning. If my models are accurate, the next major event will be a dome collapse and subsequent pyroclastic flow.
Pyro what?
Sasha had no idea what any of that meant. Imagine a cloud of gas nearly 2,000 degrees traveling down the mountain at 500 miles an hour, Wilson said.
Sounds fun.
Oh, is that all? Wilson must have noted her tone. If you are not vaporized instantly, your brain will boil, causing your head to explode. I haven't even mentioned the dangers of spontaneous flooding, suffocation. That's enough, Sasha interrupted. But the boat isn't ready. Sasha was terrified, but secretly glad that she had an excuse not to leave without Caleb. She had no motor, and the tiny paddles would never get her past the surf. It was time to get creative.
Mega boat.
She remembered seeing a couple of brooms back in the building where they had met Wilson. Maybe she could use the handles as oars for a makeshift rowboat? Sasha grabbed her phone and raced for the complex. Caleb's legs ached from running down the mountain, but at least he was going downhill and had made it quickly out of the smoke. Caleb reached the rock outcropping and paused. He had been so preoccupied with the wolves that he didn't remember which way he had come from.
Oh fuck. Oh fuck, man. This is hard. This is freaking hard. East.
Caleb forced his legs to keep
Mother.
He had barely gone 20 feet when he pushed past a pine branch to find a huge grizzly bear blocking his path. Caleb froze, but it was already staring straight at Caleb and growling. I told you this was your last chance, Wilson warned. Sasha burst into the room and found the brooms. What are you doing back here? Wilson asked. Not from the phone, but from the computer. Sasha jumped. She had forgotten that there were multiple copies of Wilson. You must leave immediately. Internal pressure is falling and dome collapse is imminent. Sasha looked at the charts and graphs on Wilson's screen, but it was all gibberish.
Where is Caleb?
Where's Caleb? Sasha asked. Wilson didn't respond. Where is he? She demanded again. Caleb is dead, Wilson finally replied.
That's impossible.
It's impossible, she thought she heard herself say, although she was too stunned to know for certain. He was killed by the eruption, Wilson said. The satellite is halfway up the mountain.
You don't know that for sure.
Sasha was in disbelief, but Wilson continued. You must get back to the boat. If you don't leave now, then both of us will die.
Both of us?
What do you mean, both of us? Sasha asked. Just because I'm a machine, do I not also have a right to live? Wilson had a sense of urgency in his voice that Sasha had never heard. With the satellite down, your phone is my only way off this island.
You are lying.
Sasha didn't know if it was just the shock or something about Wilson's story that genuinely didn't make sense. You're lying, she said. She headed for the door. Somehow she knew that Caleb would be back, and when he did, she'd better have the boat ready. The grizzly snarled at Caleb. He knew that the best defense against a bear was to play dead. However, the classic play dead scenario didn't factor in the possibility of imminent death by volcano, let alone the off chance that the bear might be controlled by a demented computer. Return to the satellite, Wilson threatened as the bear stood up on its hind legs.
Throw the phone at the bear.
Caleb chucked the phone, and to his surprise, the bear leaped after it and swatted at it ferociously. The bear brought his huge paw down and shattered the phone against a rock. Ever so faintly, Caleb felt a sudden clarity in his ears. He hadn't even noticed the high pitch that the phone had been emitting like a dog whistle. But now that it was gone, he was certain that that's what had been driving the bear crazy.
I knew it. I knew it. Back away slowly.
Somewhere deep down, Caleb knew that caution was the best course of action. But he had never been attacked by a grizzly before. He turned and ran for his life. It wasn't until he finally tripped over a tree root and laid breathlessly on the ground for a few moments that he realized the bear wasn't following him. He stood up and tried to get his bearings, but realized it didn't really matter. The cloud of ash now filled the sky in every direction but one. All he could do was head for the sliver of blue sky and hope for the best.
Woo! That's a real thrill, bro.
Back at the boat, Sasha rowed a few times to test her makeshift oars. It wasn't pretty, but it would have to do the trick. You must go now, Wilson insisted.
Launch the boat.
Sasha pushed the boat into the water so she could be ready the moment Caleb hit the beach. The memory of diving into the water after Caleb the night before flashed into her mind. She had almost died once, saving him. How much was she willing to risk?
Wait for Caleb.
Sasha floated for a moment. She was scared of dying, but even worse, she was terrified of having to carry that guilt around with her for the rest of her life.
What?
Sasha's thoughts were cut short by an enormous earthquake that shook the trees and caused the water beneath her to
I told you, wait
She
for...
looked up in horror to see another plume of smoke. Only this one was shooting down the mountain. Dome collapse, Wilson said. If you stay here, you will die.
No, I don't.
Wilson's description of a pyroclastic flow had been frightening and technically accurate, but it failed to capture the awesome scale of what Sasha saw hurtling down the mountain towards her. It was like an avalanche, except rather than burying things in snow, it caused them to burst into flames. A chain reaction of explosions shot debris into the air, and it took Sasha a few seconds to realize that what looked like flying twigs were actually 100-foot pine trees.
Oh God.
A mass of orange and black smoke seemed to swallow the valley, the mouth of which Sasha realized was the beach she was sitting on. Less than 4 minutes until it reaches us, Wilson informed her. Caleb was nowhere to be seen, but she felt as if he might run out of the trees at any moment.
Wait for 3 minutes.
We'll give him 3 minutes, Sasha said, as she started to count. 1001, 1002. Wilson began to protest, and she hit the mute switch on her phone. Hurry up, Caleb, she muttered to herself. Caleb paused to catch his breath outside the building where they had met Wilson. He considered going inside and ripping Wilson's plug out of the wall, but the thought was interrupted when the earth beneath Caleb's feet began to shake. The rumbling didn't stop. If anything, it became more intense. He broke into a run. The beach was through the trees straight ahead, just a few hundred yards further. Caleb ran onto the beach and felt his stomach sink. The boat was gone. Sasha! He screamed. Caleb! He heard a voice shout back. She was 100 yards out, just visible over the waves. Sasha turned the boat around as Caleb swam out to her. Cutting it a little close, don't you think? Sasha said as she hauled him into the boat. As they rowed away from the trees, Caleb was finally able to see what was coming at them. Faster! He yelled as he grabbed the paddle to help Sasha out.
Why you put the phone?
The flow loomed over them like a fiery demon the size of a skyscraper. A few flashes of lightning pulsed around the cloud as it hit the water and shot out over the surface, vaporizing everything in its path. They were too close.
Jump.
Seconds before it hit, Sasha grabbed Caleb and leaped out of the boat. She felt the water around her grow warm and heard a strange gurgling, which she realized was the sound of water boiling at the surface. They stayed down as long as they possibly could, tossing against rocks as waves of pressure slammed into them. They finally came up gasping for air and found only smoke and ash. Sasha bumped against a rock and hauled Caleb onto it, realizing that it was the exact same sea stack that she and Caleb had spent the night on just hours ago. It was all too familiar, the ledge, the pain, the feeling of exhaustion. As the smoke cleared and the waves carried away the ash, they both collapsed from exhaustion.
Epilogue.
Sasha and Caleb spent the next few hours on the rock, but the eruption might as well have been a giant signal flare. The waters around the island were soon filled with boats of onlookers snapping pictures, and even a cruise ship that took a detour to see the volcano, which was still spewing smoke. The boats all kept a safe distance, but soon an adventurous fisherman finally came close enough for Sasha to flag him down. "Looks like you had a rough day," the man said as he hauled them aboard. "What happened?"
Tell the story.
They took turns telling the fisherman everything. Wilson, the volcano, the bear. "That's some story," the fisherman said. It was the first time Sasha had heard the part about the bear, and even she had to admit, it sounded crazy. The fisherman handed Sasha his phone. "Looks like your volcano made the front page."
Take the phone.
The front page of the local news site featured the headline, "Volcano shuts down air travel across Alaska." But the thing that caught Sasha's eye was the signal bar at the top of the screen. It was connected. Sasha pulled out her own phone and was surprised to find it was still working. She had no idea how long it had been connected, but there were hundreds of text messages in her inbox.
Throw the phone away.
Caleb grabbed the phone out of her hand, tore it out of its waterproof case, and threw it into the ocean. "I'll buy you a new one," Caleb told her. As Sasha's phone sank, a server at a data center in Salt Lake City was transferring a file from a cell phone in Alaska when the signal cut out. The server added an entry to its activity log. Wilson.exe. Transfer failed.
He's some kind of bitch AI, man. I knew it. I knew it. The end. Everything's done. Otherwise, he will transfer all his files and communicate with us. Wow! This is actually really amazing. 57 North. AIs. Oh, blow the mind. Totally fucked, man. The story is amazing. The sketch is amazing. The storyteller's speech or whatever you guys can call it. Whew. That's freaking amazing, bro. That's freaking amazing. Man, this is awesome. It's freaking awesome. Whew. If you guys want to watch this gameplay with a new ending, I just did the good ending, I guess. If you want to see the new ending of this game, let me know in the comments down below. The 57 North. I hope you guys enjoyed this gameplay. This is my first review about this game, and this is my awesome review about this game, honest with you. It's really amazing. I really enjoy this game. I couldn't say no to this game. And the story is really amazing, whoever write it. English is good, story is good, thrilling, suspense, and puzzle. A little bit puzzle, like a tricky type of puzzle, but we just figured it out. I'm glad that Caleb broke the padlock to find out this whole system connected by the computer. This whole system. If Sasha called her parents, the data would be transferred to her parents' mind. This AI is really clever. It can control anything, humans and animals. But we survived. We got the ending, the good one. They say it had multiple endings. We can find the bad endings too, but we didn't. And honest with you guys, I didn't try this game, honestly. And I just tried this game with you guys when I start to recording. And I was shocked. And that's it. I'm speechless with this award-winning game. I can say that award-winning game because it is really amazing game. I hope others people play this game. I really need to turn on the laptop and set the real rename of all the games I play and set the description about all the games I play. It's hard to take out the time even when you are on quarantine. You have to take out the time. Yeah, I'm on the quarantine. I got another 6 days leaves. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, and these days are gonna be ended soon, and then the Ramzan gonna be start. Once the Ramzan gonna be start, I couldn't play the dating type of game, like story of your choices game. Yeah, I really want to play, but I couldn't. Okay, honest with you. Well, I guess that's it. That's all for now. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Let me know what you guys think of this kind of gameplay we just did. And I'm gonna catch you guys inshallah next time when we meet again. We're gonna be check out the new game. If we love it, we're gonna do the long gameplay, or we're gonna do the short gameplay. I think the 1 hour just done. I guess they let me check. Yeah, it's done. Well, bye bye. Take care. Love you all. Allah Hafiz. Sayonara. Pakistan Zindabad. Peace. As always, in everywhere, in every city, in every country. Stay safe. Stay home. Stay quarantined. Stay alive.